We want to build the #1 international baseball league.
Oh, what a catch! What a catch, baby!
Like I said, I feel blessed.
The pitcher grabbed by Schlitter goes for the force of the plate.
Ground ball, double play, game over. Wow!
This is a money ball, gentlemen, and this. Money ball!
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Baseball United podcast. I'm Liam Skiffington, and today I'm joined by a fan favorite, Arabia Wolves outfielder, Mr. Connor Panas. Connor's been playing professionally for the last 10 years, and most recently he had a couple stints in Mexico. So, Connor, it's great to see you. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Liam.
Yeah, of course, man. It's great to see you again. Last time I saw you, it was at last year's showcase in Dubai. What have you been up to since then? Catch me up.
Yeah, so after Dubai, I actually went over to Australia for a bit, finished a little winter ball stint there, and then, like you said, this summer I was playing in Mexico. So got my first opportunity down in Mexico, loved it. Hopefully looking to go back next summer as well. So just itching to get back to Dubai, so...
Yeah, I hear you, man. Likewise. So, Connor, I want to talk a little bit about your background first. So you grew up in Canada, and I'm curious as to your thoughts on, like, what was it like growing up, the baseball atmosphere in Canada growing up? Because I know hockey's huge up there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing hockey as well. Gave it up, actually, for baseball come grade 11, so junior year in high school. But, yeah, baseball has grown so much in Canada. When I was going through it, you had to go down to the States to play and get exposure and to be able to be seen by all those colleges and universities down south. But it's growing so much now where scouts are coming up here, the amount of big league talent coming from Canada now. So it's just great to see. So the game is just developing here and couldn't be better right now.
Connor, I got to assume you grew up a Blue Jays fan?
Yep. I mean, I live in Toronto. I live in Toronto in my off season, born and raised. So, yeah, I was a Blue Jays fan for sure growing up.
Nice. Very nice. You have any players that you looked up to?
I loved going to the field and watching Carlos Delgado. Back when the Rogers Center, he would just line balls off used to be glass in center field. Yep. So I just loved watching him play. So I would say Carlos Delgado was probably one of my favorite growing up.
Love it, man. So you grow up, you go to college, you get drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, your hometown team, in the 9th round in 2015. Bring me into that day and what that was like for you to kind of essentially see your life's work come to fruition as you were signed by your hometown team.
Yep. So I went to Canisius for 4 years, mid-major D1 school, but did really well there. All-American, and I got a lot of exposure my senior year. And just come draft day, I knew I was going to go second day, so I had a little draft party at my home and had all my friends and family. And my advisor at the time, called me around before saying, "Hey, you're going to want to film the Jays' next pick." So it was a pretty surreal experience getting to play 4 years for the team I grew up idolizing. So that was really special.
So, all right, that's awesome, Connor. So your transition into professional baseball from a collegiate athlete, what was that like for you? And what do you remember kind of sticking out to you that was super different than what you were used to?
So, I mean, you get right into it. You get drafted, and then about 2 weeks later, or not even, you get shipped down to the spring training complex. So I was down in Dunedin, was there for about a week and a half until my working visa came in, and they shipped me up to Vancouver, which was short season A. So, I mean, Vancouver, big league city. It was awesome to play there. Another Canadian city. It's all the best players from college, right, and university. So it's just every level you go up in the minors, it's just the next best guy. So, transition. I did pretty well. There were a lot of great people in the Blue Jays organization that helped you transition. So it was a smooth process.
That's good to hear. I know a lot of players really struggle with that transition, especially players that are drafted, say, out of high school, like on the younger side, 17, 18-year-olds. kind of have to become adults a lot quicker than they expected, right?
Yep. So I would say the biggest transition in pro baseball was going from that short season to that full season where, it's 140 games and you're not used to playing that many games during a season. So getting used to that, I would say would probably be the biggest transition. But once you're in that mode, as well as spring training, your first spring training is a pretty unique experience. So
Connor, what would you do differently in terms of like preparing your body for a 140 game season as opposed to maybe a 40, 50 game season in college?
so off season, you just got to keep that routine. I usually work out four days a week, mobility, do some yoga every now and then obviously you have your baseball training as well, where you're developing that arm strength, being in the cage, getting your work in. So it's just really about consistency. And then during the season, you just got to be able to maintain. So when you're approaching that, the dog days of summer, you're still able to perform at your highest level.
Connor, so during your time in the Blue Jays organization, you also got to kind of you not even kind of you played right alongside the essentially the Blue Jays big three and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, and Bo Bichette. What was that like for you? And what do you remember about the time you got to spend with those guys?
Yeah, so I got to play with those guys for 2 full years in high A and double A, and we actually won back to back championships, which is pretty hard to do in the minor leagues. But it was great being alongside them. They're obviously a talented bunch, and it's great just to see how far they've come in their careers. And ever since I was traded from the Blue Jays, I've yet to get back to the Rogers Center and watch a game because I feel like I'd be fanboying uh, my old teammates
Yeah.
at that point. But I'm sure eventually I'll go watch a game and stuff like that. But it was a cool experience, just winning back to back championships. That's very hard to do. So.
Another unique thing about your time in the minor leagues with the Blue Jays, Connor, is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but John Snyder was your manager as you ascended through the minor leagues. So each year he kind of got brought up with you. Is that right?
Yep. So short season in Vancouver. Then we went to Lansing together. Then we went to Dunedin, which was high A, and then double A. And then obviously I got traded that off season to San Diego. But all 4 years I was with the Blue Jays. He was my manager. So that that's special. That's very unique. So now seeing him being the manager of the Blue Jays, it's pretty cool to see.
It's super unique. I almost, when I was researching before our meeting, I almost thought that I was reading that incorrectly. I thought someone made an error because you
Yeah.
never see a manager like that climb the ranks just like a player does. Very rarely. What can you say about what you were able to take away from your time playing under John Schneider?
He was a great manager. You always could go talk to him if something was on your mind. He's just a really down to earth, good clubhouse manager. He has feel, as people would say. So um, just we still kept in touch, and it's yeah. I would just say he was a really down to earth manager and just had feel for the game because he played himself. He was a catcher through the Blue Jays organization, so he had that feel and understood what the players were going through during if you weren't playing well or just during those times of the season. So.
Connor, so you mentioned you got traded to the San Diego Padres organization in the offseason of 2018, I believe. What was that experience like for you? And were you kind of shocked when they called you and were like, hey, maybe your agent called you? Were you shocked when he was like, you're traded to San Diego?
So I remember it was in the new year. It was like January 4th or something in 2019. I'm working out at the gym and I get a phone call from Ben Sherrington, who was one of the assistant GMs at the time, now with the
Yeah.
Padres. Um, and he said, Connor, just wanted to call you and say you've been traded. We want to thank you for everything you've done for the organization. So and so will be in touch with you from the San Diego Padres, and we wish you all the best. And that was it. And my jaw dropped. Being from Toronto, hopefully wanting to make it to the major leagues as a Toronto Blue Jay and represent my hometown, but not everything goes the way you're planned. So I looked at it as a great opportunity to start fresh and see where things go. Right. So
I always find it interesting, Connor, those conversations, like the ins and outs of those kind of conversations, because not a lot of people really understand the business side of this game. I'm sure you've seen the movie Moneyball. And in that movie, when they're trading a player, they literally have the same exact conversation you just told me you had with Ben Sherrington. Thanks for your time with the organization. You did great. You're traded. Someone will be in touch with you on next steps. And that's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
It's crazy how cutthroat this business is.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, I had a bunch of people reach out obviously afterwards, and
Well, you were with
yeah,
the organization for a long time, I'm sure.
yeah, 4 years, just not thinking you're going to get traded in the off season, coming off back-to-back championships, thinking, have a chance to break with the Bisons in Buffalo for AAA. And as soon as I'm heading to my first spring training in Arizona, which, I guess I got to experience both sides of things. So I honestly would say Arizona spring training is a lot more doable, but
Yeah,
I'm glad I got to
interesting.
experience both sides of things. So
Why do you feel like that spring training in Arizona is more doable than Florida?
weather-wise, weather-wise,
Okay.
it's pretty consistent over there. Obviously the humidity's not really a thing. It's more dry heat, as
Yep.
well as everything's close. Sometimes in Florida, you're traveling pretty far just for some spring training games, and when by the time you get back and you start early in the morning, it's a pretty quick turnaround. So everything in Arizona is a lot closer. So it was just a different way of things, and basically the Padres uh, shared the stadium with the Mariners, so we would play them a lot, and you'd literally just walk, 100 yards, and there's their complex. So yeah, just different things like that.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. So Connor, when you reflect on your time with the Padres, you were only with them for a short time. Was there anything you were able to take away from that experience that you brought into your next chapter?
You know what? I went there with an open mind. Was I live with no regrets there. I was the first player to show up every day, last player to leave. I really wanted to leave that great first impression, and just the luck of the draw. I get traded straight up for a big leaguer. You think, hey, this is a pretty good opportunity, but just the time where the Padres were, they were so prospect orientated that
Yep.
even though it's whoever the more money is involved with, they're going to get priority. So I faced a lot of adversity there where coming out of a double A championship team, I experienced my first extended spring training, which for the viewers who don't know, it's basically if they don't have a team for you or a position, you're stuck in the minor league complex until a spot opens up. So I grinded a bit. I stayed positive. I worked hard. I finally got my shot. I went to AAA and I did well. I did everything I could, made a good impression. But once a big leaguer got healthy, I was that moving part. So I was that moving roving player. I was collecting air miles that season. So,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
I did well in AAA. I live with no regrets. I wish I had more of an opportunity over there. And then obviously, COVID next year sort of put a damper on a lot of professional baseball players losing their jobs essentially. So, but
Right.
I didn't stop. I didn't stop fighting, and now I'm here. So.
Yeah. So after your time in the Padres organization, Connor, you bounced around in the independent leagues a little bit.
Yep.
What would you say is the main difference in your experience from affiliated baseball to independent league baseball?
Affiliated ball, it's more. I wouldn't. It, you know, I wouldn't say a selfish game, but you're trying to get to the big leagues. Like sure, you win a championship, great. Like I said, it's rare winning back-to-back
Hmm.
championships in the minor leagues because it's solely just about player development and moving them up to the next level.
Right.
But I would say more in the independent baseball scene. They want to win. It's about having fun. You're obviously there to hopefully get re-signed and get back to affiliate, but it was. I don't know. It felt more like a team. So that's what I would take away from indie ball in my last year in the American Association. I really enjoyed it there. The team was great. I did really well, and it got me to where maybe not back to affiliated baseball, but Mexico is a really good option as well as now being part of Baseball United. So
Yeah. So I do want to talk to you, Connor, about your time. You mentioned you played in Australia and Mexico. I want to talk to you about your international experience and kind of how you perceived both of those leagues and what you liked about them, maybe what you didn't like about them, what was different about them.
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to play in multiple winter ball leagues. I played in Australia in 2017. I did Colombia in 2020, and then I did Australia again last year in Brisbane. So uh, I want to keep on playing winter ball, and Baseball United's a perfect option for it. So I can't wait till the season starts. But beforehand, I may go to Mexico. I may go to Puerto Rico in December and just get some reps there until Baseball United starts. But also international play. I've been very fortunate to represent my country, Canada, and play since 2019 for Team Canada in numerous tournaments. I've only missed one tournament in the last 6 years, so I'm very thankful for that. And it's been a really unique experience getting to represent your country, traveling all over the world to do it, and just there's nothing like it. Putting the flag on your chest, and it's all about the team. It's not about yourself. You're trying to just represent your country to the best of your ability. So
When you're representing your country, Connor, do you feel like kind of an added amount of pressure in these games and these tournaments just because of the stakes are so high and probably a lot of people from your home country are watching you?
sure, you may at first feel that pressure. Maybe I did in my first tournament, but as soon as you get used to the competition and facing the other countries, it's just sort of like, let's go, let's win this. So it's just, yeah, it's great seeing the guys every tournament. So it's unfortunate. Premier 12 is actually, I think, coming up real soon, and we didn't qualify this year, but it's
Oh,
okay. There's always a next tournament, like Olympic qualifier will be coming up, I'm sure, Pan American qualifier. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to hopefully still putting that jersey on and representing my country.
How excited are you, Connor, that in 2028 the baseball is going to feature the Olympics?
Back, yeah, it's back. So let's go. Let's
Back.
qualify. Let's make it. Let's
Yep.
get yeah. I'm thankful. I actually have a silver medal at the Pan American Games. It's hanging right there. So
Oh yeah.
that
Excuse
was
me.
probably
Wow.
one of the coolest experiences. In 2019, we went to Peru actually. So and we won silver. So mini Olympics, right? But just for North and South America. So
As with everyone, Connor, that I've kind of talked to on the show, this game's given you so much opportunity to travel and see the world and obviously meet so many great people, great teammates, and formulate lifelong friendships. In your own words, what does this game mean to you?
what this game means to me, I've been playing ever since I was a kid. Visualizing wanting to make it to the majors, but now in my mindset of you never know, it's still a possibility, but my goal right now is to play as long as I can, travel the world, and see new places. And that's what baseball has allowed me to do. I've played all over the world, South America, North America, now in the Middle East, Australia. I've been to Japan, Korea. So there's just so many opportunities in this game. And it just shows you that this game is worldwide. So
Absolutely. Connor, I do want to talk to you quick about this game's a game of up and downs of basically certainly a game of failure. How do you approach this game from a mental standpoint?
So, if you a nice saying is, if you haven't gone 0 for 20, you haven't played long enough.
Yep.
So it happens. I mean, you can be on, you're seeing the ball well, but that's what's crazy about baseball is the success rate. You hit a ball well, there's defenders as well, right? So,
Yep.
um, the mental game's hard. I've struggled with it at some times, especially younger through the minors, not being a prospect, really having, you got to show up and play and perform, or you might not play for a few games. So, uh, I would say now I'm more at ease. I'm more confident in myself. I'm always going to show up and be that player who's always going to, outwork you, always hustle, never take a play off. One thing I do that really helps me, and I developed it through my time with the minor leagues, is I basically, if I'm going through a little slump, I don't want my defense to be affected. So what I do is when I'm in the outfield, I go through a little acronym called TOP. So just at the top of my game, right? So before every pitch, where am I throwing this ball? how many outs, and position in the order, leadoff hitter, bottom, middle. Where am I playing this guy? So if I keep on going that over my head, I'm not going to have, oh, I'm 0 for 3 at the plate. I'm in the present in the outfield. We're at first base or wherever I am, and I'm going to perform for my team now. And then, if I get another at bat, I'll worry about it then. So that's sort of what I try to do, but easier said than done, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. What a unique trick though to kind of get your mind off of like not focusing on being 0 for 2, 0 for 3 that
yeah,
day. That's super unique. I've never heard that
yeah.
before.
Because how many times, especially at a younger age, kids worrying about his, like, oh, I'm 0 for 3, whatever, and then a ball's hit to him. He forgets how many out there are, and he forgets to throw it in, and the runner scores or extra. You know,
Yep.
everything matters. So that's just something I took with me that I still use to this day. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, Connor, you mentioned your international experience and most recently playing with us last year in Dubai. So, how did you first get involved in our league?
shout out Carlos Mirabel behind the scenes, one of the main men. He actually was one of my pitching coaches. Uh, Obviously, I'm not a pitcher, but on my team at the time, and he liked the way I play. I could swing it, and he put the word in for me. And I was actually fortunate to be sort of in the initial group of, when they started this thing. And then
Yeah.
obviously just all the development. But I was in it from the beginning, and I was so excited. And we finally got down there, and what an experience, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to going back. But Carlos Maribel was my connection into this thing, and I can't thank him enough for giving me the opportunity. So
Shout out Carlos, one of the nicest guys ever.
yep.
Love that guy. Love that guy. So Connor, when you so Carlos puts in a good word for you. You are part of the roster officially, and then you make your way over there. You see this field converted from a cricket pitch. You see all of these baseball legends, basically, who you're not only sharing the field with, but competing against as well. What was that like for you? What do you remember about that?
Just all those guys are so down to earth and just great people. That's what's so unique about Baseball United, that every person there, from behind the scenes to coaches, were just nice, good people. No one was above anyone else, and it just made that atmosphere just incredible. So, it just felt like another game. Obviously the turning the cricket stadium into baseball was pretty cool because when we were hitting batting practice on the where the pitch area, we couldn't go on it and stuff like that, but it was amazing the everything they did turning that cricket stadium into baseball stadium. It was big league, right? So, and now look, we're gonna have our own park, we're gonna have our own stadium, and the outline of it looks amazing, and I can't wait to play there. So I'm really excited to get back in the new year.
It's absolutely insane that we're building our own ballpark
Yeah.
in Dubai. Like when the announcement came, obviously a ton of online reaction. Everybody was fired up, players like yourself included. It's just it speaks to our ownership group and our leadership group's ability to kind of just push this league forward no matter the cost, whatever it takes. And it's just so incredible to see, and it's so refreshing to be a part of something like that that's really making such an impact on this game.
Yep. I mean, like you said, Cash is incredible. Just when he was speaking to us over there, and how just like he's so just what a speaker, like just listening to him, he gets you pumped up. So just the way they go at it, and it's just amazing following it on Instagram. And like today, they just posted a few things where they're at the field, they're starting to pave the surface, stuff like that. So it's just really great to follow, and then I can't wait to see it come together.
Dylan Thomas said it best, I think, on a previous episode of the Baseball United podcast. When Cash speaks, people listen. He's just one of those guys who, whatever room he walks into, he commands it immediately. And all eyes are on him, and everybody's attentive to every single word he's saying. And I think part of the reason for that is because you can feel that he believes everything that he's saying. It's not just an act. He truly believes it and feels it in his soul. So it makes it that much more impactful to those that are listening to him.
100%. When you have someone like that leading the ship, it's bound to be successful. So look at where it's at right now. So
Exactly. Only going up from here. Connor, when you look at our ownership group here, filled with Hall of Famers, All Stars, you name it, they've done it in this game. What does that mean to you to be a part of a league that's backed by such impactful people in this game?
it's pretty special because we're making an impact worldwide. We're bringing baseball to a region in the world that's never played it before. So to have Hall of Famers, potential Hall of Famers, some current big leaguers, it's amazing what they're doing, and I, there's that owner group. There's nothing like it. There's no other organization out there that even compares to the experience they have. So I'm just happy to be a part of it, and I'm along for the ride. So
Connor, you mentioned growing this game. What does it mean to you to be one of the first players to help grow this game in the Middle East and South Asia?
one of the first players that it's really special, right? Like right behind me, I have a bat signed by every player who played there last year. So that's, just like experiences like that from all over the world, Canadians, Americans, you name it. Everyone was being represented last year, and it's going to continue to do so. So it hopefully, look how big cricket is over there. It's
Yep.
huge. So, another bat to ball sport. Why not build up baseball and get the youth involved in there, develop programs over there, and make them to hopefully inspire to maybe play for Baseball United one day. You never know, right? So
Absolutely, Connor. What was your opinion on the prospects that we brought over to compete alongside you guys last year? You got a huge smile on your face
yeah,
already.
amazing. Just like how grateful they were to be around us and experience that, especially like Kasimba, like guys like
Yeah.
that. It was just so cool to see and touching. Like you tear up sometimes because it's like it makes you really appreciate what you have and the experiences. How lucky we are. So it was amazing to see. I can't wait to see them again and develop, and we got to bring more prospects over because that experience to them is the world. So
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more. And I also think that having those prospects on the field, competing with you guys, learning from you guys, picking your brains, it gives them something to go back to their country with and help the next generation
yeah,
learn about the game as well.
yeah. I mean, they're considered role models as well, right? Something that people can look up to them to want to achieve and accomplish. So yeah,
Absolutely. And I also think that our upcoming tournament, the Baseball United Arab Classic, I think that's a huge step in the right direction for the development of this game in that region of the world. It's going to elevate these national teams, put them on a massive stage, and just again get so many eyes on them where people in their country can see have something to strive for lack of a better word, have something to believe in, and someone that looks like them that they can look up to and become and try and model themselves after.
exactly. Like you said, that's it. Where is that being held? At what field? The stadium won't be ready by then, will it be?
Oh, the
They're
stadium's going
aiming
to be
for it.
ready, my
Wow,
man. Yep.
that'll be a great introduction. So I'm looking
Yep.
forward to following that as well. And then in the new year we got the cup, and then next year we got the season, which everyone's itching to get towards. So
Yep. So Connor, how fired up are you for the Baseball United Cup? It's going to be the first time I've said this before, it's going to be the first time a professional baseball franchise will play baseball in that part of the region. That's huge in and of itself. But then on the competitive side, you as a player, you got to be chomping at the bit to get back out there and compete against everyone that you competed with last year, right?
yeah, hey, the Wolves are looking stacked. Okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to
Yep.
go. So, uh, like you said, yeah, now it's going to be uh, instead of the 2 teams, the 4, or with adding the new team as well, right? So competing in that tournament style, but I can't wait to see all the guys again. I was in Mexico this last summer, and there's a bunch of guys involved in Baseball United, and every time, I would see Cano at second base, and he would say, "Hey, you ready to go? You ready to get over back to Dubai?" And it's just building that, that atmosphere of, God, everywhere you go, there's guys playing in Baseball United. So we're itching to get back.
Everywhere you go, Connor, there's guys that are playing in Baseball United. And also, from at least from what I know, everybody's talking about our league. Everybody in all these different leagues talking about, and most important, they want to be involved in some capacity. They want to know how to get involved.
The hype is real. The hype is real. Yeah, I have guys all the time asking, "Hey, how'd you get involved? Hey, can you help me out? Can you help me out?" So it's going back. I'm just very thankful to be a part of it from the beginning. So.
And then, of course, after the Baseball United Cup, we're going to have our very first Baseball United Season 1, which is going to be huge, Connor. I know you're pumped. I know all the other players are pumped. It's going to be the first full winter ball season for Baseball United. What are your thoughts on that?
It's what we've all been looking forward to. What we were hoping for this year, but building now the stadium and the cup. That you want Dubai is just, wow, what a place, right? Just
What an
everything over
incredible
there,
place.
from baseball to just exploring the city. There's so much to do there. The food, everything. It's just to have a full winter ball league there. It's just the perfect place. So I'm just so excited. I can't wait to get back. All the fellas, we have group chats. We're talking. We're ready to go. So hopefully this off season flies by and we're all down there really soon. So
Connor, when you look around to these other leagues that play in this winter ball window, I'd go as far to say that there's no other league with more talent than ours on the field. Would you agree with that?
you're attracting, guys who have played in the big leagues, guys who have played in AAA. Uh, the talent is there, So and it's attracting more guys to potentially leave those leagues to maybe pursue something different like Baseball United. So, like you said, there are those winter leagues. I would say starting at when does the actual season start? Next October or November?
Our season?
Yeah.
October 23rd, 2025, it's set to kick off our full season.
So really only Mexico, maybe Dominican leagues start around then. So
Yep.
yeah, no, the talent is there. You could see from the last 2 games last year, it is going to be very competitive, and there'll be some home runs for sure.
Absolutely. Connor, before we wrap up here, what's your message to the fans in that part of the world that are waiting for you guys to get back, waiting to see some competitive baseball, and really kind of make that connection with you guys and start rooting for a team?
Yeah, well, I would say first off, hey, start rooting for the Wolves. We got a really good team, great group of guys, but just start loving the game, learning about it, playing it, getting out, watching us, asking questions, interacting with us. That's just about growing the game. So just get excited because we'll be over there soon, and we can't wait. So
Connor, can't thank you enough, brother, for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to watching you compete soon.
thank you so much. See you soon. Okay.